You probably need to lower your threshold for what is a good enough connection to talk about. Because when most of us think about things we have in common with other people, or looking for things we have in common with someone we're talking to, we think like very, very specifically. We want them to be into the same genre of music we are, or the same type of activity, whether it's gaming, sports, whatever. We're kind of looking for something that is like as niched down as you would find somewhere like social media. And that is not the reality with talking to people out in the real world. And in fact, I've made much better connections with people who do things that are very different from what I do if we engage in them in the same way. So my favorite example that doesn't come up as much as it used to is I have a bit of a history in competitive gaming. I was never good enough that anyone would have heard of me, but I was in the top 5% in the world for the game that I played, and I cobbled a team together, played a couple tournaments, you get the idea. Now that is an incredibly niche experience. I mean, by definition, only about 1 in 20 people was around as good at or better at that game than I was. But the process of improving at something, of being thoughtful and intentional about the way you approach it, and of even trying to master your craft is a lot more universal. So I've been able to use this experience to have great conversations with people whose main focus is something like music or athletics or academics. And in fact, these conversations are often much better than the ones I'll have with a more average gamer who's just there to have a good time rather than try to master anything. So if you want to get better at finding out what you have in common with the people you're talking to, the first thing you want to do is zoom out on your own interests and experiences. In what way are these more universally applicable? What broader themes and experiences do these touch on that you can connect back to other people? And then do not be shy about making that connection in the conversation. Yes, sometimes it'll require some extra explanation, and yes, sometimes that explanation just won't land, but that is all, to me at least, far more interesting conversation than the alternative.